As the final buzzer sounded on the Pistons' 2023 season, two die-hard fans, Mickey and Harry, each passed out and witnessed a vision. They were visited by Detroit's very own mascot, Hooper, the stallion ablaze, who told them the only way the Pistons would ever win a championship again was if these two men started a podcast. To be clear, they said, do we really have to do this? I mean, aren't there enough Pistons podcasts already? It seems like this might be overkill. But Hooper dunked on them, right in their face, and said, your team needs you. He presented them with a prophecy. Now it is their duty to help Detroit rise again and become champions. The Order of the Blazing Horse. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of The Order of the Blazing Horse, the only Detroit Pistons podcast based on a mystical prophecy. I am one of those prophets touched by a horse in the brain, nothing inappropriate. Harry Morrows, joined as always by my co-host on the West Coast. Give it up for him.
Mickey Jacobs, what's going on, Harry? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's warming up a little bit. Did do a lot of shoveling. Saw some All-Star fun fair. Had a fiasco with NBA League Pass, which I got as a birthday gift and was not able to use because all the games are blacked out that I don't want to watch. So kind of a waste, but I was able to get the refund. What's new in your world?
Not a whole lot. Doing just fine. Jonesing a little bit for some Detroit basketball. It's been like a week off. We don't get any games until tomorrow. I'm a little itchy. I got to be honest with you. I'm missing it. I'm missing Cade. I'm missing Bees. I'm missing the guys.
I'm missing the dudes too. I saw the stat about Beasley today that he's leading the league in catch and shoot points right now with 486. Second place is Bridges with 378. He's got over 100 more points on the catch and shoot than second place does. It's wild, man. They got to bring him back.
Which Bridges?
McCall.
Okay. Yeah, no, I feel like that's what he does. He catches and shoots.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty automatic, and so good that Cade has a guy that's just like moving constantly, ready to let it fly. And don't get me wrong, he has off nights, but I just like expect it to go in every time Beasley lets it fly.
Always, every time, without a doubt. W's in the chat, shimmy in the chat. All that stuff is good for Bees. Not all is good for Wemby's, who we just found out will be missing the rest of the season, much like Ausar Thompson did last year with the blood clot. It sounds like it's not as serious as the Chris Bosh one was, but blood clot's a blood clot, and that sucks. I mean, it sucks for basketball because he's fun to watch, and we just got to see him and Cade match up at the All-Star game. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but we're not going to see him in the upcoming games because we're supposed to play him the first five, I believe. Was the first one?
Yeah, I think that's right, and sad to see it. Hopefully everything's okay. The league takes blood clot stuff seriously, as we saw with Ausar, so hopefully it's just a little isolated incident, and he'll be back eventually. But for the sake of tomorrow, that's okay. Like I don't mind going up against the Spurs without Wemby. Again, hope he gets better and is totally fine. But just in terms of the outcome of tomorrow's game, it's okay.
And we'll see who truly has the best dunker between Steph Castle and Ausar Thompson on our two squads coming in. So that'll be fun. Yeah, we're supposed to play them tomorrow at 8:30, and I guess it ain't going to happen. I believe we put up a poll on, or at least there will be a poll up. If you're watching, if you're listening, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that stuff. Put on your notifications. You know that jazz.
Please do. Yeah, we have a goal. We want to have more subscribers by the end of the season than Malik Beasley has 3-point makes. So we got a long way to go. We're trying just to get to 50 for now. We're hovering around 47. So help us get that 5-0, and then it's just going to be up from there. We're doing some fun stuff. We'd love to have you.
And like on Substack, I put links to that in like the chat and stuff, and you can find us wherever. Like we're putting up a poll on how much you think the Pistons will beat the Wembanyama-less Spurs by tomorrow. I thought it was going to be just about 8 points because that's over 7.5, one for every foot and inch that Wembanyama is. That was my thinking for it. How you feeling about it?
I don't know. I hesitate to say this because I put the poll on Reddit already, and one of the options was why would you jinx us, and that's by far winning. But I was in the 11 to 20 point camp after what we were able to do to the the Kings with De'Aaron Fox, with Sabonis and all those guys. We were able to beat them. I think it's going to be between 11 to 20. I think we're going to handle them. As long they've got Castle, they've got Vassell, they've got some guys, but we're them boys. Mm-hmm. I don't think they can touch us.
They certainly don't have the chemistry that's been bubbling up with our team. Like, the chemistry on Detroit is insane. And like I said, we had one All-Star and we had one Rising Star, and our two guys did not get booted from a skills competition for being absolute whack jobs out there like the Spurs guys did. I don't know if you saw that, but they were refusing to shoot. So insane. Cade did okay in the three-point contest, didn't finish in last place. That's good. He finished third to last or something, but pretty much right around the median of where everyone's shooting, like in that 16 to 19 point range. He had, I think, a pretty good All-Star game, albeit 5 minutes, but like he had a sweet alley-oop. He had a hell of a slam to close it out. He hit a 3-point shot, and he crossed over Wembanyama right before getting blocked from behind by Wembanyama. But, what are you going to do in that whole instance?
He also beat Wembanyama to the rim on that dunk.
He did.
So, he won one, Cade won one, and 5 points in 5 minutes is pretty solid, I'd say, by any measure.
I thought it was pretty good, especially looking at like what the other guards on the team were doing. I was like, just keep him out there, man. It's a little bit different to me, but I'm biased. What are you going to say about it? I'm happy he showed out. Also kind of happy he didn't play a whole bunch in that All-Star game because now he's well rested. We were talking about him being tired from doing this whole All-Star thing, but like, nah, man, he got plenty of rest. If you're playing the game at all, you got plenty of rest because it was 90% Kevin Hart, 10% Gabe, I'd say. Not great.
Is that not the ratio you wanted?
It's not what I was going for. I wasn't going for Kevin Hart saying, "Don't stop shooting the 3-point basketball. Why does everybody shoot 3-point basketball? Get in there and bang around with the big guys."
Sorry, I closed my eyes and I could have sworn Kevin Hart was on this broadcast right now. That's uncanny.
Oh, thank you.
I thought you just did Werner Herzog impressions. I didn't know you had that KH in you. That's
I'm gonna need it for the place of the house. Not my real Kevin Hart impression. I want to get that clear, but whatever. We can go for it. How did you feel about
the SNL audition tape? It's in the roster. He's got that.
How did you feel about the whole All-Star performance? You want to talk about Ausar in there?
I thought Ausar looked good. It was fun seeing him play with Amen. There were a couple. That one dunk. Oh my God! He took off from like the free throw line from 2 feet and just a sword to the rim. It was insane. Overall, wasn't nuts about the All-Star format. What I think is cool is the teams wanting to play to win and actually having pride on the line, like the old school Americans versus the Europeans. But the way that the teams were assembled, like I get that there were like curations, Ausar was on like the all defense squad essentially with like Amen and Tumani and was it Bilal?
Yeah.
But that's a tough team to win with, and likewise with Cade and the young guys, it's cool that it's the young, hungry up and comers versus the old guard or versus the Europeans, but it's definitely like, I don't know, not exactly stacked in their favor, but I guess that's what the league wanted. And yeah, I also heard Draymond's take that the rising stars shouldn't get to share the all-star floor with like the old school all-stars. And I found myself in one of those strange situations where I'm like, do I agree with Draymond Green about something? Because I think I kind of do. How did you feel about it?
It was like fine. It made for like the 4-team format, and like I'm cool with that. And like it is going to ensure that players are going to play harder because the young guys are going to play hard because it's like we're here, we're going against these dudes, let's do it. But at the same time, they're not all stars to the same level, but whatever. I was fine with it. I was cool with the format as far as like the games being played went. I was not cool with the amount of like game to everything else. I don't love like the whole business and commercial aspects surrounding it. Like if you're gonna give us an all-star game, just give us a game. Like give us something to watch. And they didn't. Like I watched Cade play, And then I turned it off because it was awful as far as the rest of it went. And I was like, okay, I don't need to see Mr. Beast. I don't need to see I don't need to hear Kevin Hart and stuff. It was no good, son. It was no good. What is good is the Pistons record coming out of the All-Star break. And we've got a tough set of games here to break out of the All-Star break. I believe, like I said, we're starting out with San Antonio. We talked about them a little bit as far as how we think they're going to do. We both think they're going to do pretty good in that whole standing. But then after that, the next 4 games are against Atlanta, and that should be fun. They've all been fun with Atlanta so far. Then the Clippers, the Celtics, and the Nuggets. So, this team made us believe beating the hell out of Chicago multiple times, out of Philly, out of Charlotte. Now, can they, really make us believe by playing some good teams? What do you expect out of these 5 games, man?
Is it weird that I find myself most worried about the Atlanta matchup? Maybe not the most worried. The Clippers play some serious defense, but I've just still got these nightmares about Dyson Daniels just picking Cade's pocket and Trae Young hitting those unbelievable buzzer beaters. Fingers crossed, but I like that those games are getting really competitive, and things have been shook up since we last played the Hawks. They have Karis LeVert now, no DeAndre Hunter. Is Jalen Johnson still out?
I believe he's out for the season.
Okay. So, I mean, in theory, a very winnable game. Would love to see that. Denver also, I feel like we could catch them sleeping. They're good, but as long as, we don't let Christian Brown give us the business, and Joker is going to Jokic is going to Yogurt. Yeah. Nikola Yogurt. God, he should do some stuff for Dole. That's just waiting to happen. I think we could at least get 3 out of those 5. How do you feel?
I think 3 out of those 5 too. I really want to see a revenge game against Denver because they blew our sweep of that first road trip that we had when Jamal Murray went off for the first time all season, kind of got him going right. I think the game I really want to see, and I'm going to be at it, I think, is the Boston game, because Boston is a hell of a team in the Eastern Conference. They're competitors, and I feel like Detroit has played them pretty well over the last 2 years. Even when they started getting beat and blown out, they still came close. They took them to overtime last year when they were a terrible team in the midst of their losing streak. And Boston's kind of in their championship hangover, and the Pistons are a team on the rise. I want to see how those 2 teams play against each other, and I think that could be a big statement for how they go the rest of the way. If they win 11 games over these next 26, they're going to finish with a 40 win record this year. Insane.
Unreal.
Such a better team compared to last year and in the following years. And I feel like people have got to been eating crow all year about the Cade Cunningham stuff, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. Rightly so. He's been making them eat their words, and I think it's fun at this point in the season to sort of look back and say, who was wrong? Who was wrong about Cade? Who was wrong about the Pistons? I don't think we could have predicted them doing as well as they are, but I think this segues nicely into our next guest.
That's right. We do have a very special guest. It's tax season, as you know. I was filing some taxes, and I was looking to sign up with H&R Block. I guess I must have put in the wrong thing. I typed in P&R Block, and I got a special NBA auditor. He does NBA auditing, and he apparently has kept up on a lot of receipts, specifically for the Pistons. So please, welcome to the show, NBA auditor Trevor Flanagan.
I appreciate the graceful shoehorn of my intro. Did not seem at all fabricated.
It's like butter.
The jump
Seamless.
Shot comes from my client, Mr. Cunningham's. And thank you so much for having me, gentlemen. How are you on this lovely evening?
I'm doing great, man. I'm looking for my refund here. Hopefully we get one. We'll see. Mickey, how was your tax season treating you?
I tell you what, we worked so hard these 4 months that the other months I don't even wake up. I'm a bear.
Hibernating.
I hibernate. Yes, thank you. Have I mixed up the names of the two co-hosts almost immediately? Why, certainly, yes, I have.
It's all the same.
You're in the numbers. You're a numbers guy.
As a tax man who is very by the book, maybe, but let's not get into specifics yet.
No, we appreciate that, and part of what's been so fun about Cade's rise and just the Pistons. I don't even want to say overperforming anymore, but there were a lot of doubters at the beginning of the season. After last season, I don't think anyone really thought that they were going to do what they did. You've got receipts, don't you, Trevor?
I certainly do. I've also recently remembered that my name is Trevor, and that when you call me that name. Thank you so much. I do.
Could have fooled me.
I have taken up the mantle of Mr. Cunningham. I am the family attorney. I've taken up the mantle as the personal tax attorney of the Cunningham family, the Cunningham name. I represent Randall. I represent Richie. I represent all the Cunninghams across all the major sports and any sitcom where Cunninghams were involved. I've also done some pro bono work for Fonzie and some anti-bono work against Sonny Bono.
Oh, wow. So
whoa.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there.
It's a lot of years to unpack. You've been in the business for a minute.
Yes,
you look great.
I am 86 years old, and I have no intention of retiring.
Oh, okay. 86. Thank you for emptying out the market for us, the unemployed youth of America. But you're doing a great job. I mean, you've worked with great real people, Arthur Fonzarelli and all the Cunninghams that we know, and Sonny Bono as well. Pretty fun stuff. How recently did you work with Sonny Bono? Were you doing his taxes?
Well, we went skiing, and then we didn't follow up from there, and that was all of. That's all I remember about my time with Sonny.
I got you.
Well, this bit is never going to jump the shark on water skis. This is evergreen. So. I personally could do this all day.
I wish someone would slam this bit with their fist and make it funny. That's what I would.
Can't fix what's perfect. You can't. Hard to improve on amazing. But I don't know. Should we dive in, because Cade, especially, when you're the number one pick.
Did you say Cade or did you say Cade?
Cade. Just when you think it's over, right back up again. That's how you know it's good, is when we don't know when to drop it.
Yeah, man.
That's always the sign.
You can't stop these happy days, dude.
No, you can't.
As a longtime fan of Mr. Moses' stand-up act, I know that if there's anything that he can't do, it's drop a bit.
That's true.
Commitment is important.
I got you, babe.
I do have a bevy of receipts in my attaché case that is next to my messenger bag, as I am a very cool tax attorney.
Oh, wow.
86, by the way, my secret, I play pickleball. I drink a lot of water. So children, if you're listening out there, that's all you need to do.
86 in pickleball. You really jumped on the hype train for the sport of Gen Y or Gen Z.
Oh, pickleball doesn't discriminate ages. Any generation can be out there. The greatest generation, the people from the Gilded Age.
The best Five Alive generation. That's my favorite generation.
All sorts of generations. Tom Brokaw to Millard Fillmore, who was the president before. Anyway, speaking of unfortunate demises, I'm about to bring some unfortunate demises to these men. Well,
of course they're men.
They're all
classic,
right?
I've been in the tax game long enough to know that if someone's trying to cheat, it's typically a man.
Not a Thompson, but a men. We got to clear that up just so we don't know.
Yeah, we're Ausar guys anyway, so it's fine.
It's true.
100%. these alpha, they say, "Oh, I'm an alpha." Well, I checked your taxes, and you're not gonna be an alpha. You're gonna be a prisoner in jail.
Yeah, you beta get a good lawyer because you're going to prison.
Good luck getting some good tattoos, because they're also usually white people, and they don't get great tattoos in prison. Anyway. Been watching Oz. You guys ever seen Oz? That's another podcast.
Anyway. The memory I have of Oz is a man being put behind like a brick wall, like he thinks he's Jesus or something, and they're like putting a brick wall in front of him, and that like horrified me forever, just like being starved to death and like hidden away from everybody. And then I somewhat recently found out that's an Edgar Allan Poe short story. I can't remember the name of what it is, but it's the same sort of thing, and it made me lose respect for the writers of Oz, because I was like, you stole that shit. You stole that
Okay, well,
shit.
first of all, spoilers.
Sorry.
I mean, maybe some people haven't seen this show from, the late 90s, early aughts?
Yes, I would say it is it's the HBO thing. I'm kind of losing my character's tone. It's the HBO series that came before The Sopranos. Yes. But there's a lot of Sopranos crossover. Edie Falco plays one of the prison guards.
Oh.
That's about it. Anyway.
I have seen Oz, by the way. I love Oz. I'm a big fan. Whatever.
It's wonderful.
It's a great show.
J.K. Simmons, probably a big Pistons fan. Throughout the first
that's a terrifying character, too.
Horrifying. Oh.
Yeah.
Speaking of horrifying, imagine being one of the fortunate souls who wrote one of these quotes. Imagine being a little boy named Tim McMahon.
Timmy.
Who said on the 23rd of December, 2 days before Christmas, he dropped some coal in Cade's stocking. He said, "I'm doubtful Cunningham can even be the best player on a decent team, let alone a title contender." Well, McMahon, you've been served.
Man.
Whoa.
It's a great show when "You've Been Served" is not the oldest, but maybe the most recent reference that is made on the show. He really said he couldn't be the best player, like the go-to guy on a decent team?
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
That's
NMT.
crazy.
Not my Timmy.
Not my Timmy.
NMT. And by the way, like, Tim McMahon is a respected basketball mind. Like, he doesn't he cover the Mavericks, and I think was that from the Hoop Collective? You know, like, this is supposed to be like a trusted figure that people listen to.
Well, I tell you what he didn't cover: his ass.
Oh man, our tax man goes blue. This is a tax man for America.
I apologize for my coarse language, gentlemen.
No. This is a safe space to say whatever you want. And I think this is important. I think if you're going to be, out there in the ether, saying all sorts of bunk, you're going to get dragged publicly by Trevor Flanagan, NBA and sitcom auditor.
For real people.
I think that's the title.
We want to enforce that.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know how those 5 friends could have afforded that apartment. They're next on my list.
Got a struggling actor.
Unless
barista.
she's taking residuals on that haircut, I don't see it working out.
And you do the taxes.
I do the taxes.
It's a numbers guy.
You know.
I'm a numbers guy. And for Tiny Tim McMahon to say this 2 days before he goes and gets that goose for Scrooge, I can't believe it. Friends was a little bit too recent, so I went with
Man, we're all over Charles Dickens on this podcast. It's been like 3 in a row, I think. So that's pretty solid.
This is what basketball fans want. They want references to prestige television, Dickensian stuff. That does huge.
Yeah.
We've been doing a little SEO optimization, and we're really learning what the masses are tapping into, and I'm just trying to feed that need. But I think, real quick, by the way, this is a great opportunity to remind everybody to subscribe on YouTube. As stated, we're trying to get as many subscribers as Malik Beasley has 3 points made by the end of the season. Is it a lofty goal? Maybe. So, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, smash it harder than Cade smashed the Knicks at MSG. Just smash it.
That's right. Smash it down. We only need 7 times as many followers to reach that goal, most likely. But it's there's a shot. Okay, so speaking of shot, we know more people took shots at Cade Cunningham. Trevor, give us some more. Like Busta Rhymes, give us some more.
Yes, I'm gonna put your hands where Tim McMahon can see.
Whoa.
We gotta get a reference.
Not holding back.
We're killing it. This is one from I'll go ahead and say a man that I used to respect. And when a man falls from grace, boy oh boy does that break your heart. We've all had people in our lives who appear to be one thing and then become another thing. Mike Valenti from 97 won the ticket. A respected loudmouth in the community. A man who probably has used his radio job to leverage free drinks all around the metropolitan area. From Hazel Park to Ypsilanti, he uses that card. And on June 24th, he said, Cade is not a top 50 player in the NBA. Well, tell that to the All-Star voting, Michael. Oof.
Not a top
ridiculous
50 player? It's your home team, dude.
Oof.
I'll tell you what, I'll get him a ticket out of town. The midnight train going anywhere. Because that man stopped believing a long time ago. It's okay. This is just gonna be all references today, and I hope everyone's enjoying it in the chat, in the listener world.
They are. They're loving it. They're like, more Oz. Please do The Wire next.
Moraz, that's my name, baby, Harry Moraz. So I'm all about it. It's actually not how it's pronounced. It's pronounced Moros. If you're listening, please don't make the mistake. But I appreciate the read nonetheless.
Anything for the bit.
Anything for the bit. We lean in. We commit. We hold our ground like our Timmy on the charges. So top 50, like the NBA, I think, I don't remember, was the Ringer at the beginning of the season had Cade 67th. I saw something that had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope like 20 or 30 spots ahead of Cade Cunningham at the beginning of the season. That's nuts. That's nuts, man. I've said it on here. I think he's a top 3 player in the Eastern Conference. Like, to be not top 50 is out of control.
And to put
it's ridiculous. And
specialist 2 guard ahead of him is unbelievable.
It's crazy. And like you said, Valenti's a loudmouth. Yeah, I said it. You said it, but I'm saying it too. He's just, I feel like he's trying to just get a reaction. I'll bite. That's not true at all. Cade is 100%. I think you said top 3 in the East. Absolutely. I think he's got a case to be made that he's a top 10 player in the league. What he's done to turn this team around is unbelievable. And good rage bait, Mike Valenti, but not a good argument.
Not that I do stand-up anymore, but Mike Valenti actually, he inspired me to write a bit about how if you call into, like people who call into sports shows, I want to start my own sports show where you call in and I help you confront whatever trauma is actually bothering you in your life. And it's like, you're like, Monty Williams, he never puts these guys in there. He doesn't know ball. He doesn't know how to call plays. Are you sure your kids just don't know how to call you on your birthday because you have an estranged relationship with them? That's what they're looking for. See, this is why I don't do stand-up anymore. I do it for you guys. I do it for
it's there.
The world.
It's there. Is Cade not a top 50 player, or is Mike Valenti's marriage on the rocks?
For the last 50 years.
I'm not saying that's. I'm just asking. I'm just asking questions.
I'll tell you what's on the rocks. All these losers buying drinks for Mike Valenti at these bars.
at Snooker's Irish Pub.
What if he's at Snooker's right now, just like grinding his drink?
Just hanging out outside the Moose Preserve. Do you know who I am?
I'm Mike Irish Car Bomb Valenti. My drink's curdled. I'm so mad.
Sorry, Trevor. Keep going.
I'll read the rest of the quote. That was like the first part.
Oh, we're not even done with the quote?
Yeah, no, you guys just jumped on it, and my voice changed. But now I'm back at the character again.
Seamless.
Yes, and. Okay, so Cade is not a top 50 player in the National Basketball Association. And unless you believe he can be a top 10 player, I don't get the wisdom in automatically handing out $250 million just to be terrible.
Whoa, this was right after he signed the extension? It was that recent?
Yes. This was post-extension.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable.
What a take.
What a take.
Ridiculous. But again, people are just trying to get reactions, just trying to stir the pot a little bit. And I think that's what's going on over at 97.1, not the ticket, in my opinion, in my humble opinion.
Got him.
Yeah, I said it. Aggregate that, blue sky.
It's all over TikTok. Not the ticket. Not the ticket. Not the ticket.
Aggregate the snooker stuff too. I stand by that.
I'll tell you, the only people that enjoyed that quote from Mr. Valente are the marketing team at Lady Jane's Haircuts. The only people.
Oh my God. I am tearing up. Okay, I'm having too good a time. Let's hear a terrible one again. Let me get angry again here.
Please.
All right. Now we're going to get close to the ocean, but not entirely. This one's from a little publication called The Athletic.
Ooh.
I'm familiar.
A pay-to-read publication, I believe.
I used to.
Order of the Burning Horse, Flaming Horse.
Blazing.
It's
It's all right.
It's close enough.
It's tough that there's 3 words that mean the same thing.
Yeah.
I hate that.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And that's not your guys' fault. That's English's fault. I don't think anyone should speak it anymore. Is that what you guys want to talk about for the rest of this?
Let's ban English in America. We can get that movement going across.
I'll circle back to that for sure. Yeah.
What are we bringing on? Esperanto? Is that what that language was?
After we get done with this, I would like to have a very frank talk about the current geopolitical climate with you guys.
Okay.
That's so good you mentioned that, because that's another one of the things that keeps popping up in the SEO optimizations. That's they want to talk about that.
Yes.
Sports fans mostly.
I don't think it's going well. Anyway, again, I'm sorry to get political. There's a time and a place, and this certainly is it.
It's going like the Philadelphia 76ers season. We'll say that. That's what America's going like. And that's why it's fitting that that's where the Liberty Bell is. So proceed.
Well, speaking of Liberty Bells, this man who wrote this quote, I believe he was on crack when he wrote this.
Dang.
This is John Hollinger or Hollinger. Listen, I don't audit letters. I audit.
Okay.
You don't have to get his name right. He's on crack.
He is. Listen, and luckily, not luckily, but unfortunately, he's probably not going to get the help he deserves because of all the new Department of Health person is a whack job. Anyway, let's hear what this cracked out loser has to say. What I push back is the idea that Cunningham can be the man, the guy you give the keys to the offense on day one and never look back. Well, John Holland's opus.
Got him.
He does have the keys, and the only thing, and we've got a lot to look back on because there's a lot of teams behind us. Listen, they're not all going to be great slams. All right.
You think he doesn't have the keys? He's the motorcade. Of course he has the keys. And not only does this guy, not only is he on crack potentially, but I think there's a dead worm in his brain.
Yeah.
How about that?
So political today.
I'm bringing it in.
Why don't you go marry the blonde lady from Curb Your Enthusiasm, you little jerk?
He'd probably be down. Caroline seems pretty. Is that a last name for real? Or is that in the show? I can't ever remember.
Yes, she's the heiress to...
Oh, to Heinz condiments.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the rich keep getting richer.
Yeah, but, as you've proven with this quote, you can't buy brains.
You can't.
You can buy worms for the brains, but you can't buy brains. And John Hollinger, isn't The Athletic? It's like with the New York Times now. That's supposed to be a respected publication. I don't respect that take. Cade he's been the man. He's the guy you want with the ball in your hand. Is the usage high? Are the turnovers a little high? It's worth it. It's the cost of doing business when the guy's putting up 25 points, 10 assists, couple stocks a game. He is a difference maker.
He's driving the Pistons to potentially have 3 times as many wins as they had all last season. Most teams, like on a good year, it's hard to get better by 8 wins. They're currently better by, 15? And we still have almost 30 games left to play? It's wild.
It is. I think... Were these guys just not willing to look at... I feel like it's not all Monty Williams' fault. You can't put all of the blame on him, but it seems like people were really afraid to criticize him, like in the mainstream athletic media.
I kind of think people weren't even watching the Pistons. They were just like looking at the record and being like, oh, the Pistons are bad.
True.
Because I remember watching Cade last year, and he was tearing it up. At the beginning of the season, people were like, oh, Cade had a really bad season last year. I was like, 23 points, like 8 assists, 6 rebounds. What? Like, those are good numbers. Better this year. They're better this year, but there's a stretch where Cade had like 2 40-point games and several 30-point games and just like not as many triple-doubles. Like he's all out of control triple-doubles wise this year, but statistically very good. I just feel like the Pistons were so bad people weren't actually watching and see what was going on, because anybody with eyes paying attention to that man knew that he was the man.
Anyone watching this team last year could very easily see that all that needed to happen was a couple veteran free agent signings and people who could shoot the basketball and could pick up rebounds. And that's exactly what happened. And that's exactly why the Detroit basketball Pistons are in the exact position that they're in now.
I like the Detroit basketball Pistons, like the New York football Giants.
Yes. There's
the Brick City pickleball Pistons, I've heard.
They're good. Listen, I recently found out that the Piston is not a name of a horse like I thought in the late 90s.
Back when you were just 60 years old.
Yeah.
He's a numbers guy. He's a numbers guy. He's not a historian.
Yes. I was too busy reading the tax code, work stuff. And I saw, I thought, oh, Pistons, it's a basketball. In the late 80s, early 90s, I thought a Piston was a type of basketball, like Wilson, like Balding. And then in the late 90s, this horse comes up, and I'm like, oh, a Piston is a horse. And then I did my own research, which usually a fool errand. I found out that a piston is actually like a part of a car. It goes up and down. Very helpful. It's good. It's it's like a machine. It's a machine, and makes sense. I was in the late 80s. I was like, why'd they name the team after a basketball? And then in the late 90s, I was like, they named it after a horse. That's even more dumb.
Well, wherever he is, I'm sure John Hollinger is eating crow.
There's a goddamn lion down there. We're just naming stuff.
Naming conventions are a mystery to us all. I guess the Pistons did right by us in the Motor City, and I'm happy that this Piston team is on the upward trajectory of their whole Pistondom as opposed to the downward one, which it seemed to have been stalled out at for the last 2 decades.
Well, if you know anything about Pistons, you know that when they go down, they almost immediately come right back up.
Yes.
That's literally what they do.
That's literally what they do. And unfortunately, that comeback up took like 12 years, but we're here now.
Yeah, it wasn't a linear comeback up. It was...
Have any of you guys ever lost a loved one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Stabbed up. You don't go through the stages of grief right through, and you go to different ones, and that's what happened with the Pistons. Does that make sense?
They lost a loved one. Is that like Carmelo Anthony in the draft? Is that the loved one?
I am an auditor. I'm also an amateur grief counselor.
Oh, okay.
And
that could be like a great duo business. Do you like audit people and then after offer your services as a grief counselor?
Yes. So come to Trevor Flanagan's Office of Grief Counseling and Tax Auditing. We're at 13 Mile and Middle Belt.
13 and Middle Belt.
Right. Our old office was under Joey's Comedy Club, and then that whole thing.
Kickers, baby.
Kickers complex got out of there. Come have a big steak and watch the open micers. Follow their dream.
Let me ask you, when you were working under Joey's, did they ever pay you for your tax auditing in free tickets to Joey's?
That's exclusively what I was paid for. Did they still charge me rent? 1,000% they did. I tried to give them back those gift cards for my rent, and they unfortunately wanted American money.
They don't accept it back. Mickey, you don't know this, but like stand-up comedians know this. If you were an MC at Joey's Comedy Club, they paid you with gift certificates to Joey's Comedy Club.
Yes.
Well, that seems fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seems like a good deal for everybody involved. I mean, I'm not a numbers guy.
100%.
Seems generous.
It's so crazy they went out of business with that business model. But no love lost. I had good times performing at Joey's. That's where I performed on Media One, the cable network Media One, their stand-up comedy show, where it showed me doing stand-up and then it cut to me in the audience laughing at my own stand-up bit.
You know what though? It's like athletes and comedians and performers. Like, you gotta be your own biggest fan.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah. At the same time, Ethan.
Literally.
Same. Oh man,
I think that's great.
You simply must. Have you guys ever seen Matt Rife do crowd work to Matt Rife? Really enjoy that. Him talking to himself.
Oh,
That's
man.
a lot of fabricated handsome.
Do you think when he's getting like heckled by himself, the whole time he's thinking, man, I really want to fuck me?
He'd simply be a fool not to think that.
Okay, you guys are really alienating our Columbus, Ohio audience here.
Sorry, non-comedy people, but let's get into it. Let's get in more receipts. How many more receipts we got? We got a couple?
Yes.
God, how could so many people be so wrong about Cade?
I mean, in fairness, it's been 3 so far.
Fair enough.
Two are by the same guy.
Okay.
Are you gentlemen familiar with the man Bill Simmons?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Shamrock Shake.
What's this now?
No, he's just a big Celtics fan, so I just dubbed him Mr. Shamrock Shake.
Interesting.
It doesn't seem like it's going to catch on. So.
Well,
Mr. Pearl Jam?
okay. Keep going. I have time for 7 more Bill Simmons.
I'm all out. That's all I got.
He's a big pro wrestling fan. I know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. And anyway, he's the guy who does the Ringer, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's his network. Yeah.
Lovely. Well, he has really dropped the ball in the hiring department because he hired a man named Michael Pina. And he said on 12/24, Christmas Eve, while he should have been wrapping presents for his little pinas.
Don't aggregate that.
got a bunch of Scrooges on our hands here.
Yes, Scrooges. I think in the film Christmas Vacation that Julia Louis-Dreyfus was across the way just writing, oh, Isaiah Thomas is a mean man. Ooh. Bill Lambier sucks. I don't know what it is about Christmas, but it makes people say dumb fucking shit about the Pistons. Anyway, Little Pina on the Ringer said, for me, the player with the widest stats versus eye test gap is Cade Cunningham. Listen, what does his eye test have to do with this? That should be protected doctor-patient confidentiality.
I don't know. I've heard of an eye test, but that sounds more like a PU test because that takes stinks. It stinks. Its
inaccuracy is only bested by its stupidity.
Maybe instead of wrapping presents, he should have been wrapping his mouth shut. Am I right? Am I right?
Get him.
Then he goes on to say, really enjoy watching him. I like so much about his game. Looks like an all-star.
Oh.
Etc. But the numbers are consistently meh. Well, Pina, are you talking about Cade Cunningham, or are you talking about your own penis?
Okay.
Should follow up with him, ask which he meant.
I don't think I'm going to ask him about that. And
I hope slide in those DMs.
Got a consistently mad penis.
Oh, we are gonna sick all 47 of our subscribers on you. They're gonna harass you.
I saw this take on Blue Sky, and he did get a lot of harassment from it. He did go on to say that I believe that he thinks if Cade made some little adjustments, he could be like a superstar. But like that take, just that the numbers are meh when he's averaging almost a triple double and almost no one in the league has better statistics than him, is insane. Like,
was that this season?
That was this season. That's 2 months ago. That was 2 months ago.
That's at his statistical peak.
Yeah.
What is he supposed to do?
Fewer turnovers, higher scoring at the rim. I think that's been the big critique this year for people.
Sure. Okay. All right.
He needs to call more 20-second timeouts. I don't know. What do you want? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, I think we've probably laid into Pina enough at this point.
Like it. But with that said, good for him for being on Blue Sky. Probably a nice man.
Yeah, absolutely, and for talking it all out. So,
and I hope he does have a good. I hope he did have a good Christmas, and I hope his Christmas coming up in 2025 is even better.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure his penis is at the very least of average size.
Yeah.
So.
Listen, I'll say the same thing that women say when they're really pushed on this issue, which is. It's all about what you do with it.
Some of them say that.
Some of them do say that if you ask them enough times.
Oh, looks like the Ringer. Thank you for joining the chat, Warren F. It looks like the Ringer has Cade ranked 28th, but they haven't updated it in a while. That is quite the leap from 67. Hopefully, he gets up to the top. I bet the most they put him at is top 15, but I doubt they'd even do that. We would here, though. Order the Blazing Horse and Trevor Flanagan with P and R block would maybe put him top 15. Top 10 even.
I go 12.
Okay, I'll take a dirty dozen.
Fair. Reasonable. Top does.
Warren, where would you put Cade Cunningham? We want to know. Let us know in the chat.
Currently. I felt like on that All-Star team, I think he's better than Brunson. I think there's a case to be made he's better than Ant. Yeah, I said it.
I'll say it right now. I think he is. I straight up think he is.
What about you, Trevor?
Yeah. I think better than Ant. Yes. We're in a really fun spot right now, and it's tough to kind of put him against these other guys because I don't know how the body of work with the team that he has isn't. We're halfway through the season, so I would like to reserve judgment, but I think as of right now, on whatever date that this is released, he's definitely in the top 15, probably number 12 for my money.
I like that. Warren says all NBA third team at worst. I agree. Here's my case for him over Ant. I think he does play better defense. I think Ant probably could, but he doesn't. I think Cade also makes the players on his team better, and that's not something that Ant does. And I think Cade's leadership and mentality and personality is such an underrated factor. It's why the Dallas Mavericks keep saying that's why they traded Luka. We have the opposite of that with a guy who gets stats across the board like Luka. So I'm very happy with him as a player. Plus he's big. He does it all. Good for him. I'm super happy he's on our team. I'm happy he was our first overall pick, and all the best to Cade Cunningham, our all-star.
Yeah, I mean, the Mavs said that that's why they traded Luka, but little Tim McMahon, I think they also might be smoking a little bit of crack. Is that who we said?
I think we said about John Hollinger, but
McMahon. Oh, John Hollinger. Yeah. John Hollinger.
Also, by the way, Hollinger family and Hollinger. This is for fun. I don't really
wish you all the best,
dude. You see that? They put.
We have said some egregious things, but we don't mean them.
You were wrong.
We don't mean them.
I mean a little bit. I mean some of the stuff about Oz.
All the stuff about Oz and its relationship to the cask of Amontillado, I think is what it was. Also, I want to say it wasn't Esperanto, it was Esperanto. It's just been such a long time since I've thought about that language. Do you guys know Esperanto?
Warren, let us know if you know Esperanto in the chat. I personally do not.
One of the world's most beautiful languages, right up there with Polish and
it's created by a Polish man.
I'll be honest. That one flew right over my head.
All right.
It's a great language spoken by great people in a certain part of the world that is beautiful.
Warren also said Hollinger has gone out of his way to avoid talking about the Pistons basketball lately. I wonder why.
I would too. I wouldn't want to talk about Warren also not.
We know some more people who should stop talking about the Pistons, or at least should change their tone about the Pistons. Trevor, hit us with another one, baby.
This is from Tim Bontempt.
Bontemps. Timmy Newell.
Well, you're gonna if this was my last name, I'd turn that B to a C, and I'd hold myself in contempt.
Whoa. I'll bet you he's never, ever gotten that before.
Probably
I bet
not.
You that's a first.
Probably not.
Because it's so original.
It's so. Not only is it so original, this man also seems like he would have never been held by anyone. A man is capable of love and capable of accepting it, experiencing it, giving any of it.
So what's the take?
So what did he say?
No, you got us all juiced up here, man.
Why? Why?
Trying to think of what I'm gonna have to eat after this. Thought I apologize.
So easily
Understandable.
distracted, Trevor.
Good. Listen, I live in a food paradise. It's a little something called 12 Oaks Mall.
Oh, shout out Mr. PETA. Almost got fired from there.
Why did you almost get fired from Mr. PETA?
They thought I was stealing. They thought I was stealing from the store.
Were you?
Were
No,
you?
I mean, I was giving away free pitas. I guess that's stealing, but
Dude, if you're working at a food place in the mall and you're not giving away freebies, what are you doing, man? And if
Okay, so
you
what
own-
did Tim Bontemp say? What did Tim Bontemp say?
we got to get back
Oh,
to
yeah,
Bontemp.
I got a lot of opinions on it.
We'll talk in the food court about this later.
We're coming back to 12 Oaks. We're going to talk about Olga's. We're going to get into Max. We're going to do it all. We're going to do it all. But I want to know what Tim Bontemp said.
Yeah, do we have to sparrow with this guy or what?
There's certainly number one picks that that totally change the trajectory of your franchise. Cade is going to be a really good player, but it doesn't seem he's going to be that kind of player. I hate to say it, but Bontemps, those are racial overtones.
I mean,
I don't see the racial overtones per se, but
I think it's
It's implied.
it's subtly racist. I mean, I think that take is aging like milk.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, Cade is absolutely the guy that can change the shape of the franchise. But as to the racism, I can't really.
I'll tell you what, I don't love the take, and I wouldn't invite him to my house. And much like your name, Bontemps, like Bontemps, Louisiana from True Blood, I wouldn't let your vampire ass into my house. Is that a recent HBO reference?
Everybody watch HBO. HBO new season of White Lotus. It's out now.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. You see his junk.
Sure do.
Yes. Yes. I think if Cade leads the team to the playoffs this year, then he is that kind of player. I think that turnaround is like unreal, and it deserves all the plaudits and platitudes and attitudes and White Lotus premiere parties it can handle.
I couldn't agree more with everything you just said, and how you said it, because
Glad someone agrees with how I said it. I don't agree with how I said it. I think
I would not change a thing.
Playoffs, Cade Cunningham shouldn't get to go to the premiere of White Lotus next time.
I'm for it.
I don't think that should be his prize. Money. You should give him more money.
Load him up. That's part of the Super Max deal. It's Super HBO Max deal is what that is. Let's change it. I know that's like a dead stream.
Love that.
But
Super HBO Max deal.
If he does get a Super HBO Max deal, Cade, buddy, it's Big TF. Let me get that password.
he does your taxes.
Yeah.
He does your
Hook it
taxes.
I do the taxes, dude. I'm cool with tax guy. I say dude and bro.
Well,
You gave him grief counseling last year after the season was over.
I did. I said, aren't you glad that is over?
That's good counseling.
still
man.
got some denial
Good
and
grief
anger left over from that.
Good grief counseling. That's the Charlie Brown plan.
Yes. Back to old references, I see. Lovely.
You won't be making peanuts when you get that plan. Okay.
Warren is loving this right now.
And then this is what, as we were saying that, Tim McMahon piped in and he was like,
Mm-hmm. And John Hollinger was sitting at his piano smoking crack. Just going,
Okay. The official fake news episode.
Yeah. Put the pipe down, John.
Okay, so I think we can apologize to all of the sports writers that we've disparaged, accused of smoking crack,
Being
having
vampires.
poor
I
marriages.
will
Small
never
penises.
apologize to Mike Valenti for saying that he leverages his job to get free drinks. I will never apologize to Mike Valenti.
We can, you know what? I'm with you on that. Let's just stay in that one. Everything else is a joke except for the free drinks about Valenti. I'll 100% back that up.
At the Red
That
Coat
one's real,
Tavern
the
right
rest of
now, trying to get Bell's Two Hearted on the house.
You know how everyone on the Pistons, they pass around the WWE belt, the championship belt. I think Valenti's got a Dave and Buster's tickets belt.
Well, are we making fun of him, or are we
don't
saying that? I mean, that's kind of cool.
Now, Dave & Buster's, that's obviously at Great Lakes Crossing. That's a different mall.
Oh, good mall. Well, anyway, we've made some apologies to some of these guys, but I think they owe Cade and the Pistons fans an apology. If you're going to take a victory lap when you're right about something, you got to eat that crow when you're wrong. And I think we just fed them a steaming plate of crow.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think, TF?
I totally agree. And I was more than happy to put on my waiter's tuxedo, shine up my shoes, and drop it on the table, baby.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Where can people find your stuff, Trevor?
Nowhere. No need. No, thank you.
You're not looking for new customers or anything?
Nope.
He's booked solid. He's got some big clients.
I have an office, I guess. It was at a mall or something. It was at 12 Oaks
12
Mall.
Oaks. By the food court.
You guys have my handle up here for whatever reason. There's no need. You can follow me if you'd like on Instagram, but there's no reason to do that. I retired from comedy, but I am really getting into character work.
Hey, man, it's the natural transition. You're doing a great job of it.
100%.
And if you are watching, we really appreciate you being here. If you got a chance, give us a subscribe, give us a like. We're really trying to get those numbers up. We're at like 46, 47 right now. We'd love to get 100. Our goal is to get more than Malik Beasley has 3-pointers by the end of the season. We've been pushing it. So like we've said so far, smash that like button harder than Cade Cunningham smashed the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden twice. And make sure you put those notifications on too so you don't miss us. It was wonderful having Trevor Flanagan on this show. Mickey, it's always great having you on the show, having me on the show. Follow us on Substack and on Blue Sky, and we're on all the podcast apps. Give us ratings and reviews and all that jazz. If you write a review, we'll read it on the podcast. We'll talk about you. We'll give you a shout out. We love you. Warren F., new sub. Thank you, dog. I'll work on those buttons a little bit. It's been a pleasure having you here. And we end the show the same way every time that we do that show, and that is we speak the acronym of the Order of the Blazing Horse, like how a horse would say it, I think is the best way to put it. Right? Is that right? We say like
that's exactly right.
So as a horse would say, all of us from Order of the Blazing Horse say...